So, welcome students. Today we are discussing regarding recombinant DNA technology. So, we'll discuss recombinant DNA technology in detail now. You are having long question on discuss recombinant DNA technology in detail and applications of recombinant DNA technology. So, first is isolation of specific DNA. So, it is brought about by splicing. Splicing is brought about by a group of enzymes known as restriction endonucleases. So restriction endonucleases, they are helpful enzymes. So they can specifically recognize a short sequence of DNA for cleaving. So restriction endonucleases, they recognize a short sequence of DNA for cleaving. The spliced DNA fragments have staggered staggered cuts to produce sticky ends or blunt ends. Next step is selection of vectors. So what is a vector? So vector is a carrier of DNA molecule. So vector is nothing but it is a carrier of DNA molecule to which fragment of DNA of interest is attached for cloning. So what are properties of vectors? So vectors are having ability for autonomous replication. Presence of a specific nucleotide sequence recognized by restriction endonuclease gene for identification. So three types of vectors are commonly used in recombinant DNA technology. So plasmids, cosmids. So plasmids, what are plasmids? Plasmid, cosmids and bacteriophages. So what are plasmids? They are small, independent, circular, double-stranded DNA molecules. So plasmids are nothing but small, independent, circular, double-stranded DNA molecules. Plasmids are the most commonly used vectors. Plasmids are the most commonly used vectors, and they can accept DNA fragment of 6 to 10 kilobase length. So the property of plasmid is they can accept DNA fragment of 6 to 10 kilobase length. They are most commonly used vectors. So MCQ can be there. So plasmids are most commonly used vectors. They are small, independent, circular, double-stranded DNA molecules, and they can accept 6 to 10 kilobase length DNA fragment. Next is bacteriophage. Bacteriophages, they are linear DNA molecules, and they can accept foreign DNA fragment of 10 to 12 kilobase length. So 10 to 12 kilobase length. And what are cosmids? So these are specialized plasmids, and they contain DNA sequence, namely cosites. Cosmids can accept much longer DNA fragments, that is 20 to 50 kilobase length. So plasmids, they can accept 6 to 10 kilobase length DNA fragment. Bacteriophage, they can accept 10 to 12 kilobase length, and cosmids, they can accept much longer DNA fragments, that is 20 to 50 kilobase length. So these are called vectors. So there are three types of vectors: plasmids, cosmids and bacteriophages. So third is preparation of chimeric DNA. So we have seen two processes. First is isolation of specific DNA. So they are isolated by restriction endonucleases. They can specifically recognize short sequence of DNA for cleaving. So the spliced DNA fragment has sticky ends or blunt ends. Second is selection of vectors. So it can be plasmid, cosmid or bacteriophages. Then now third is preparation of chimeric DNA. So a fragment target DNA of interest, human DNA, the vector DNA, that is plasmid, produced by restriction endonucleases possessing sticky ends. So both they are having sticky ends. Sticky end is used for the preparation of chimeric DNA. So the human DNA and vector DNA with complementary sequences are annealed. So that is annealing. So human DNA and vector DNA with complementary sequences, they are annealed, joined, and the enzyme namely DNA ligase, the enzyme namely DNA ligase seals DNA fragment to finally produce recombinant DNA. So DNA ligase is the very important enzyme that is asked as MCQ. So DNA ligase, it seals DNA fragment to produce recombinant DNA, that is chimeric DNA. So third step is preparation of chimeric DNA. So for ligation of DNA fragments, sometimes synthetic DNA called linker called linker called linker is used. The linker helps for recognition of sequence and effective binding between the human DNA and vector DNA. So we can use linker also for ligation of two DNA fragments. So synthetic DNA, that is synthetic DNA. Last step, so it is cloning of chimeric DNA. So it is clone. A clone means large population of identical copies of cells or bacteria derived from a common ancestor. So the chimeric DNA contained in plasmid can be introduced into bacteria, that is bacterial cells, by process of called transformation, which helps in amplification of chimeric DNA of vector. So chimeric DNA can be amplified by just chimeric DNA contained in plasmid can be introduced into bacterial cells. So that is transformation, and that helps in amplification of chimeric DNA of vector. In this way, cloning results in production of large number of identical DNA molecules. So the clone target DNA is released from vector. So how it is then we derive? So clone target DNA is released from vector by cleavage. So we do cleavage. They are isolated, characterized, and used for various purpose. So in this figure it is shown. So recombinant DNA, that is human DNA, recombinant DNA in plasmid bacterial cell. So there is transformation, and that amplification that leads to amplification of bacteria. So bacteria are lysed and plasmids are isolated, and restriction endonucleases, they act on these plasmids. Again, original plasmid is derived and DNA fragment of interest we derive. So this is, so we will start from, this is first and second phase. So circular DNA, that is plasmid DNA, and human DNA of interest is shown in this figure. So restriction endonucleases act on human DNA as well as plasmid DNA. So human DNA with sticky ends and plasmid DNA with sticky ends. So we are having both, that is first process isolation of DNA, human DNA, and selection of vector, second process. Then restriction nucleases acts on them. Then there occurs annealing. So chimeric DNA is formed, DNA ligase here it is important, and recombinant DNA is formed here. So linker can be used also, synthetic DNA. And then this bacterial cell, recombinant DNA is introduced into the bacterial cell by process called transformation, and this now amplifies, that bacterial cell amplifies, and then we will be getting multiple copies of then bacteria. So bacteria are then lysed and plasmids are isolated. So again restriction nucleases act on this plasmid. So original plasmid and DNA fragment of interest, that is we are getting. So cloning of recombinant DNA, this process is called cloning of recombinant DNA. So first stage, isolation of specific DNA by splicing. Splicing is brought about by DNA restriction endonucleases. Then selection of vectors, plasmid, cosmid, and bacteriophages. Then preparation of chimeric molecules. The restriction endonucleases act on them, and uh, you are getting a fragment of target DNA of interest, and vector DNA is produced by specific restriction endonucleases possessing sticky ends, and then we form chimeric DNA. So DNA ligase is very important here. So linker DNA can be used. Then cloning. Clone means large population of identical copies of bacteria are derived from common ancestor. So chimeric DNA is DNA contains plasmids that is introduced into bacteria by process of transformation, and there occurs amplification of chimeric DNA. So in this way, cloning results in production of large number of identical DNA molecules.